Good morning, Jim McKinnon here with Money Management Inc. We've had a good time the last couple of days since this is the 4th of July weekend coming up. We're not going to get too serious today. We're not going to talk business. Most of you don't like that anyway. So we're going to talk about something everybody likes. The king. The king. Who's the king? You hadn't got to mention it. You know, you say the king. My 12-year-old grandson says Elvis Presley. And you know, Elvis has been dead, I don't know, 30, 40 years, whatever. My grandson's 12, but he still knows who the king is, Elvis Presley. There's the movie out right now. I have not gone to see it. I think I'm going to try to go tomorrow afternoon. I think they got a matinee about 4:30, 4:25, something like that. And that's when there aren't that terribly many people generally compared to the nighttime. So you might want to go to, I've heard it extremely good. All the Presley family, Lisa Marie, the mother, the daughter, the granddaughter, have all said that he portrayed Elvis as good as he could be portrayed, and I think that's pretty strong coming from Elvis's family. So we're looking forward to go to see it. Elvis had a bodyguard named Sam Phillips. First of all, when Elvis was living with Priscilla, Priscilla moved out. Of course, they married, and then he moved out. She moved out. And Elvis took up with Linda Phillips. Now, Linda Phillips was a former Miss Tennessee. I think she was a former Playmate. I'm not sure about that. But she was a very, very attractive lady. And she had a brother named Sam. And Sam was a Memphis cop. And she told Elvis about Sam. And, of course, cops don't make a whole lot of money. So Elvis got in touch with Sam, hired him as his personal bodyguard. So Sam was a big guy, about 6'4", 6'5". And Elvis used to kid around and he'd say, Sam, if somebody's trying to kill me, don't fall on me because you will kill me, as big as you are. But Sam was a big guy. I know Sam. And he's a big guy and a jovial. He's a judge now, by the way. He had not finished, I think he had finished high school when he was a cop. Elvis, if he hadn't finished high school, Elvis sent him back, got his GED, then been paid for him to go to college. And then Elvis bought, after Linda moved in, Elvis bought a home for Sam, and Sam took us up in the upstairs part and showed us. I had a private tour of Graceland with, there wasn't just Mignon and me, there were about probably 20 of us. And all thanks to Danny Raspberry, who was an outstanding country music promoter and insurance promoter from Laurel, Mississippi. Raspberry and Associates. Great people, great people. Anyway, so Danny showed me, introduced me to Sam, and Sam gave us a tour that most people don't get. It was great. And he told some funny stories, and I hadn't got time to tell them all to you, but the one I like, that happened quite frequently, is Elvis was watching Ed Sullivan. And some guy was on there, on Ed Sullivan's show, that Elvis didn't like. So there were 6 TVs. So Elvis just took his pistol, bam, 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 shot out all 6, and told Sam, get me new TVs. And I think it was early in the morning, like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. Sam calls the guy that sells him the TVs. Sure enough, he goes down. Within a couple of hours, he had bought the 6 TVs out. I think that happened quite frequently. Sam's comment to him, well, he's done it again. So anyway, Elvis's dad, Vernon, married a lady who had 3 little boys. And she was not able to keep these 3 little boys, so they went in the orphanage. And they'd been gone from orphanage to orphanage because they did not want to separate. They wanted to all 3 go together, and nobody really wanted 3 boys. They were in Memphis. So Rick, the oldest one, used to go to his little brothers who would cry during the night in a separate room from him. And he'd tell them, hey guys, don't worry, things are going to get better. I promise you, things are going to get better. Well, little did he know that Vernon Presley, Elvis's dad, married Rick's and the other brother's mama. And when Vernon Presley came to get the 3 little boys to take them to Graceland, he just casually mentioned, you have a new brother named Elvis. Do you know Elvis Presley? And they, no, we don't know Elvis Presley. They'd never heard of him. And they were very young boys. So they got into Graceland, went to bed, and when Elvis came in, Mr. Presley told him about the 3 boys. So he sent his entourage out, and they bought 3 of everything: 3 swing sets, 3 bats, 3 balls, 3 basketball goals, 3 ponies. Now these are kids that never had anything. The next morning when they wake up, it was like, it was like, you just couldn't believe it. I mean, kids that have had nothing, all of a sudden have all this stuff. And Rick said, told you it's going to get better, guys, right? Yeah, right, Rick. Now, when you get driven, Rick was a good-looking guy, by the way. Tall, athletic-looking. And when you get driven to school in a pink Cadillac with the top down, and Elvis Presley is driving it, do you think everybody in that school, boys and girls, probably want to be your friend? I think so. And that's what happened. So Rick had no problem in school getting anything he wanted. I mean, anything. And he got some things he probably didn't need, such as drugs, early in his career. And he got strung out on drugs. And it was a problem that he faced for a number of years. Finally, Rick got saved. He is, or was, I don't know about now, he may be dead, but was a very successful youth evangelist and went all over the country telling stories about Elvis. I mean, if your church says, hey, we're going to have Elvis Presley's stepbrother here, I think you have a full house. And we saw, he actually came to First Baptist in Columbia, South Carolina. We were living there, and we actually saw him in person. Then went home, saw him on TV again, and then First Baptist filmed it, and I got the video, and it's a phenomenal video. I mean, he tells some stories that I just don't have time to tell you. Phenomenal video. I can't find it. I've lent it to more churches, and I know that several people have been saved in youth groups as a result of watching Elvis Presley's stepbrother give his testimony. The most important thing in the whole equation was Elvis saved? Was Elvis a Christian? And Rick, the evangelist, goes into a long elaboration about it and says yes, but he was and he used a term that I don't remember what it was. Anyway, a backslidden condition. He had backslidden, but once saved, always saved. And he says Elvis did make a formal profession of faith when he was a child. And Elvis's favorite singing was gospel music. And Elvis was very smart. And he studied. He loved religion, and particularly Eastern religion. He didn't believe in it, but Hinduism and Muslim and this sort of stuff. But he would spend hours reading those books, and he loved it. And he could converse with anybody, and probably knew more than 99% of the people he was talking to about all the religions, including Christianity. But his favorite thing to sing was gospel. And when they'd get around, and Rick said, in the house, all of his buddies would come over, and I mean, there'd be all kind of famous people there. And Elvis would be at the piano, and he'd say, okay, guys, let's sing something. And they would, well, Elvis, you play, and we'll sing. And he'd start out with How Great Thou Art, or The Old Rugged Cross, or, some of the old gospel hymns. And he loved it. And, I believe that, as Rick said, Elvis was saved. Elvis is in heaven. And that is by far the most important thing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope maybe I told you some things you didn't know before. Hey, if we can ever help you, Jim McKinnon, Money Management Inc.